Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's Elliott Wave Forex and Cryptocurrency Market Analysis webinar. I hope you all had a wonderful week. So the pairs are starting to look very nice and clear. We're starting to get some direction. We've been in consolidation for some time. And talking about consolidation, you can see that we have been in consolidation, and the market has most of the currency pairs have been moving slowly for quite some time. But we're going to go into more detail on that when we get started with the analysis. But now it looks like we're starting to get direction. So it's going to be an interesting webinar. Stay glued and keep track of what we do here. Right, so let's start with these timestamps. So I just want to apologize for the short notice and change of the time of the webinar. I think going forward, I will make an announcement whether we're going to stick to this 10:30 a.m. South African time or the 18:30 a.m. GMT time. I think it's working quite well for me, so I think we may in the future stick to this time. I get to have the rest of the afternoon to do other important things if I do the webinar first thing in the morning like I do now. All right, so let's have a look here on the timestamps. Also, I see that the last week's video did not upload all the timestamps. Something went wrong when I uploaded that. I will upload the rest of the timestamps for last week's video. So if you are watching the video and you're interested in only specific pairs, all you have to do is under the description of the videos, go to the Show More tab. This is what it looks like. If you click on Show More, you will see that there is a list of all the currency pairs that we discuss here. Right, so you can click on any of those pairs and it will take you right into the analysis of each and every pair. And if you like to do backtesting of these webinars, it's also very convenient to just go to the timestamps and click on a pair this week and go back in time, just clicking on the same pair and checking the analysis and checking the accuracy. So you don't have to take my word for it. All right, so that's how that works. So the next course is happening next week on the. Let's have a look here. I don't want to make a mistake with the dates. It's actually next week, Monday. It starts on the 8th of October on a Monday. So for more details on the course, please send me an email and you'll get information such as the timing of the course, the cost of the course. The cost is $529 US. So this is the second last course of this year. So if you miss this coming week's course, you only left with last opportunity in November to attend the course. Otherwise, we will resume with the courses next year after November. So those are the only two opportunities left for the course. The rest of the year, we're just going to be spending mentoring the guys in the premium in our premium group. All right. So let's get started. So I thought I should just talk about one quick thing that I had somebody talk about, and it's very common. I always hear this, and usually people will send me a post with screenshots of profits that they have made, and some will be telling me that they've doubled an account, right? So they'll tell me that I've doubled my account, I've tripled my account, I've quadrupled my account. And I'll be, yes, well done, right? But then, is it possible to double your account? Is it possible to triple your account? It is quite possible, very possible to double your account. But then I could ask a similar question and say, is it possible to be a thief and get away with it forever? Okay, is it possible to be a thief and get away with it? Yes, it is possible to get away with it if you're a thief. You can steal so many times, but how long is it going to take before you get caught? It's a similar thing with doubling your account. So doubling your account means you have put in 100% risk into your account to be able to double it. So just a quick one, okay? Just a schematic indication of what doubling an account essentially means. So if you've got something like this, let's just say this is an axis and this is your account size. Let's draw it cleanly, and this is your account size. Your account size, for ease of calculation, let's just say $1,000 US. So if your account is going to double at this level, so let's say you're going to have $2,000 at this level. Okay, that means you would have made 1,000, right? You would have made $1,000 at that point. So now you've got your initial capital amount, and then you've made 1,000, so your account has been doubled. That means that very profit that you have made was actually your risk when you took that trade. So this is an entry point. Let's say this is an entry point in a trade. So that means that whatever amount you have made in profits here was the exact amount of money. Let's make this one in green because you've won this one. You've made money on this one. So let's make this one in green. Green is profits, right? Right. So you have made, now you are on $2,000 profits. But what you do not realize is that that same amount of profit that you have made was actually your risk. You don't realize it because the trade worked out. Okay? But more often than not, you find that you have actually you actually lose the same amount, and in this case you would have made a loss of $1,000. So that means you would have been in minus $1,000 at this specific point. So at the same point that you would have made 1,000, you would have actually lost 1,000 at the same point. So that means if you triple your account at this level, at this point you'll have lost 3 times your account. So your risk would have been the same. You will not see it if this works out, but if it doesn't, and which is most often the case, you would have lost that exact same amount of money. So you can double your account, you can triple your account, you can quadruple your account, but when it gets you, then it's going to wipe up, it wipes up your whole account. And most of the time, people who double the account will simply just take a certain portion from the account and put it in the trading account. So for example, you've got $10,000 and you put in $1,000 into your account and you go and double it. You're not necessarily doubling the account. You are only making 20% of your initial capital. Because if you wanted to really double your account, put in all your life savings in it, put in all your investment in it. And if you get to double that, then well done to you. But what if you don't double it and instead this happens? Okay? So that is why you always have to do risk management. Similar to a thief, this analogy of a thief going into a house maybe to break in, to steal some stuff, that person will do a risk management. He will check if the residents will have a gun, they have a dog, they've got security and all those things. What are the chances of him getting caught? And he'll go in it. Obviously, there will be a certain risk factor that he does not think about. Maybe there's an alarm system in the building. There is a camera system in the building that will get him caught. So risking or putting all your eggs in one basket is not necessarily it's actually not a good thing in terms of trading. Okay, so you always need to use proper risk management. I do not care if you double or triple your account, and people send me screenshots having doubled their accounts the day before, and they said, hey, yesterday I doubled my account. And I say, wait after 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. Let's talk after a year. How has your account growth been over that period of time? So it is not you do not necessarily have a goal. This is a process. And to be able to be successful in this, you need to have the right knowledge. Apparently, knowledge is the new currency. The most valuable currency than more than anything is actually knowledge, investing in yourself. So let's get started. So doubling, tripling account is possible, but you need to be aware of the consequences when the opposite happens. All right. So let's get started. We get back to the business of making money. Okay, so somebody says money is not everything, but everybody wants to find out for themselves. So I also want to find out for themselves. So let's have a look and see how we make money here and see if money is not everything. Let's get started with the Euro US dollar and the dollar index correlation. Okay, I've got Euro US dollar at the top. I've got the US dollar index at the bottom. All right, so let's start with what we discussed last week. So last week we were right here at the top. You can see that is Euro US dollar at the top. So let's just get the annotation right. So last week we were here. We had made a 1, 2, 3 wave move to the upside. We had gotten to this point, and I said leave Euro US dollar alone because you don't know what's going on with this correction, because this correction could make a 3 wave move up to the 1.2, or it can actually be all of the three waves and then back. But we will update this when we go into the euro US dollar chart itself. So this could have been a B on its own. Okay, so that analysis, that bias is still valid, and I'll show you why it is still valid based on the pattern that we're looking at. So similarly on the DXY, we had a three-wave move to the downside, and Sunday we were looking at this correction here like that, and we were expecting that this may make another three-wave move like that, making this a three-wave structure. Let me just switch off the labelings there so we can show the three-wave structures that we're looking at. So it has made a single 1, 2, 3 wave correction, which is a W, and it could have made another X and give us two corrections. So the only thing that we do not know about with this correction is whether we're going to get a double or a single correction. In this case, if it gives us a W, an X, and a Y, then it would have made a double correction. For now, it looks like it is making a single, but not necessarily. So let's have a look at the other alternative of what this could be playing out as. So I'm going to clear this now, and you'll see all these structures clearly on euro US dollar when you go into the individual chart of euro US dollar. So let's clear that out. So another alternative will be this one here. I think let's rather go to euro US dollar. You know that euro US dollar and the dollar index are correlated, inversely correlated. So everything that we're going to be looking at on the euro US dollar is the inverse on the dollar index. Let's get exit there. I want to go back to one screen so we can do this clearly now. Right, let's go to one chart, euro US dollar. Okay, so what are the other possibilities here? I'm on the daily chart here. But let's first show the overall structure. So we had made this swing all the way up to this point, and this was our wave 5 right here at the top. We came down with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulsive wave move like that. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is supposed to be an A wave correcting this whole swing. This swing starts from right at the bottom. So all that is happening now is a correction for this swing. Okay. Okay, so if somebody's complaining about the internet and the sound, it is on your side. Please reset on your side. Other people are fine. Right, so this has started correcting this whole swing with an impulsive wave move, and we're thinking that this is going to give us an ABC move or a WXY move like that to come up to this level. The reason why I wanted it to come up to around this level was that this looked small compared to this. Okay, that's not actually the C wave, that's actually the B wave. B and then a C right to the downside. Are we ready now to go down to a C? I do not think so. I think there's a possibility that we've made an impulsive move to the upside like that, and then we are now making this correction here. There's a possibility that this is making this expanding flat here. That could come break the low here and even give us another three-wave move to the upside to that original target that we had initially. Okay, so this is a possibility. So it can give us an expanding flat, it can give us a running flat. Either one can happen. So how do you now trade this? So to trade this, it's easy. What you're going to wait for is this to correct here and see if you're going to come back to the downside. But when you come to this level, you need to be careful. You need to be careful because this is a structural level where this can bounce and give us this 1, 2, 3 wave move before we drop. And that would have made our A, our B, and then our C that we are looking for here now. So the exact same thing is the opposite on the dollar index. And this flat actually looks very good. Let's just go to the 4-hour here. According to the rules of a flat, you'll see that here, this flat correction that we're looking at, we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you're getting a pulsing move to the downside. If this is a running flat, this can actually turn from here. I'll show you an example of where this has happened. We've got the exact same structure on a pound US dollar. Okay, so pound US dollar has done the exact same structure, but this has already played out on pound US dollar. It made this move and pushed higher. Okay, so we're gonna go to pound US dollar just now. So right now on the euro US dollar, how to trade it in the week ahead, you wait for this. But be careful, if you're getting this to the downside, it may not go all the way. It may just come and do that and give you this expanding flat three-wave move like that, and what you'll be getting is a 1, 2, 3. Okay, so also this can start going up like that with an impulsive move and a correction. So those two moves. So either way, you should be able to catch that move. It should not leave you behind. Okay, so that is what you're going to have, a three-wave move. So all we are doing is to correct this. Okay, so the last alternative is this going all the way down here like that. So we've got 1, 2, 3. This comes down here, correction, comes here, retest the bottom, and gives you this bigger sideways correction. Either way, this will still be fine. Remember here, we're expecting a bigger zigzag in the higher degree, but this can actually also be a bigger regular flat that comes all the way down. So you need to have all those possibilities to know whichever one plays out, you know what to switch, how to switch. Okay. So so that's what you're going to be looking at on Euro US dollar. So talking about the structure that I'm talking on US dollar, on US pound US dollar. Remember this. When we go to pound US dollar and this, you'll see that after pound US dollar did this structure, it actually pushed higher. So let's have a look at what I'm talking about on pound US dollar. Let's go pound US dollar. So it is possible that even with that impulsive move, that pound can actually push higher. So look what happened with pound when we were down here. Okay, this is also quite recent in the mid August. You had a three-wave move up on pound, and it made this strong move to the downside. Let's look at this one. Let me make it with the thick annotation tool here. So you can see you had a 1, 2, 3 wave move to the upside, and you had this correction that I was showing on Euro US dollar that looked so strong that it was going to go all the way. But look what happened. It kept pushing higher again with this move. It kept pushing higher. So it is very likely that Euro US dollar has the same structure, which could be this expanding flat that pound had made here. Okay, so let's have a look at what pound is doing right now. So this is what is supporting my bias for upside on Euro US dollar as well. That the possibility of upside on Euro US dollar is because of this. So if you look at the pound, you have made a three-wave move up. Okay, you've made a correction. You've made another three-wave up, and now you've made another correction. So these three are making a clear three-wave correction. So there is a likelihood that this year, when we get to this level, pound will get another move to the upside. And that will give us the last wave, which is a Z, and that will be the last correction on pound, and that will be the last correction on Euro US dollar if we get that first alternative that we spoke about, the alternative of a running flat on Euro US dollar. So either way, you know which one this is going to play out. So this supports what we are looking at on the Euro US dollar. Okay, so let's have a look with the labeling on here. Let's just take this off. Right, so that's what you're going to be looking at. Maybe a little bit more to the downside before we get a move to the upside. It does not look like it's going all the way. Okay, it does not look like it's going all the way, but let's keep an eye on it and see if we get, we've already made an impulse in the 4 hour. Let's see if we start getting a correction here, then we will have started that move to the upside on pound again. So same thing that has happened here. If you start getting a move up and a correction, then you know that you're going up. Okay, so that's what pound looks like. Not very clear. We don't have any structure for any new trades. Okay, at this point. So that's pound US dollar. Let's look at US dollar CAD now. US dollar CAD has got a very interesting structure. US dollar CAD has got a very interesting structure, and by interesting, you guys know by now, I mean clear. Right. So let's look at this piece. I'm going to show you piece by piece, and I'm going to show you the higher degree as well. So let's look at the last piece first, and then we're going to do this going backwards. So US dollar CAD has made a three-wave move to the downside, and we're looking at this as an expanding flat in the middle. Very clear expanding flat. If you look at this first three-wave move here, it looks like we are already making the very same three-wave move, and we are going to be expecting a move like this here as well. Okay, so that's what I am looking at on US dollar CAD at this stage. So further downside, but I need to get some correction After this is done, I'm looking for this upside. You'll see when we go to the higher degree why I'm looking for this upside. And after this upside, I'm looking for the big move to the downside. So you can see I'm focusing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves. Okay, so it is quite possible with the wave theory to focus all those moves, and it is very likely that that can play out like that. So what is the next immediate move on USD? Before we do that, so let me just show you what the labeling here will be. This will be a 3-way move down, 3-way move up, and 3-way moves to the downside. After that, this correction would have completed. Initially, this was the original move to the upside. So this is correcting this move. Okay, relativity. This is relative to this. So now we are going to expect that we get a move, a push to the upside like that. Okay, so let's just show you what the labeling looks like here. So those who like the numbers. Okay, guys, so I do not count the waves. I label the waves. So there is a difference. So if your analysis is about counting the waves, then you're doing it wrong. So you don't count the waves, you label the waves. So you need to know which waves it is, which structure it is beforehand before you actually start labeling. So this is a very clear structure. What are we looking at in the near term? Possibly in the next week, a correction here in the lower degree to come into the blue box. In the blue box, that's where we're going to expect that big move to the upside. Okay, so let's have a look. So I spoke about the move to the upside and the move to the downside. So let's have a look what we'll be looking at here. I'm going to go to the daily now. And I've shown you this. I've shown this a couple of times, and this is actually working out peep for peep. Okay, let's see here. Let's switch off. So why am I looking for that last piece to the upside? This and this to the upside, and then this drop. It's because of this. We have made 1, 2, 3. We've made 1, 2, 3, and this drop. Similarly here, you've made 1, expanding flat, 2, 3 to the downside, 1, 2, 3 up and down. Where was this coming from? This is not just the similarity in the last piece. This came from, let's show you here, the structure, 1, 2, 3. Right, so similarly here you would have 1, 2, 3. What structure is this? This is a 5 or 11 string sequence. W, X, Y, X, Z. If you know anything about the wave theory, this will make sense to you. I've shown in in one of my videos, couple of previous videos, how we traded this and how we sold this right here at the top to the peep. So similarly here, you still have a couple of moves to go in this. You're still expecting that we're going to get a move to the upside like that, and we're going to try and sell it here, depending on the structure that we get here. Either we're going to come break this top here and come down, or get an AB base pattern and come down. Either way, we will be looking for this big move. This was a 1,300 pip move. We have traded this 600 up. We corrected in another 600 up. So that was 1,200 pips to the upside and 1,300 pips to the downside. Okay, almost 2,500 pips in just a matter of days. And you can see that these impulsive moves play out very, very fast. So this is the structure, and that's why I'm saying this looks very clear at this stage. So you've got here a W, you've got a X, you've got a Y, you've got a X, you've got a Z, possibly here on this. So you can see that these structures, this one we've already traded, it's playing out similar, it's playing out similarly here. So we need to get that last piece playing out. And if it plays out, lots and lots of money to be made in these trades. Very, very clear structures. Okay, this is what we call fractals, but fractals don't just happen on their own. It becomes part of the structure. Okay, so this will be amazing when it actually plays out. But even though you have seen this, the challenge would still be the timing and how to enter this. So immediate moves, you're going to get a correction for further downside on your USDCAD. Let me just look here on the 1 hour, what you're looking at. Still more downside here. So you may still get a corrective structure and one more down to this level. This will be a 3-way move coming to this level. So if you just draw a trend line, remember we don't trade trend lines. Okay, we use them to identify structures. So this may still give you an A, B, C move. So wait for this correction here in the immediate term. Wait for a correction here to this to come down to that level. Okay, so that's how you're going to be looking at. Right. It'll be very nice, Yok. You are in the premium group, so we will update this. So the challenge with this is not forecasting. What I'm doing here is quite easy. You can give me any pair, a pair that I've never looked at before, and I'll show you what the direction is. But to trade that pair, to know when to enter, where to enter, and to size the trades is the challenge for that most people experience. So that's USD CAD. Let's look at USD CHF. USD we've made an impulsive move to the upside. We've made a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is like your 1, this is your 2, and now you're busy making a wave 3 here. At some point, you're going to get a wave 4 here. You're going to get a wave 4 and a further upside here on USD CHF. So this one is quite easy to follow. Let me just go to the 4-hour. The wave 1 is a very extended wave 1, very simple extended wave 1. This is your wave 1 here. 1, 2, and now you're busy making this wave 3. So this internally here could be a lower degree. Could be a lower degree, and we'll be looking for a 3 and a possible 4 and a possible 5. Okay, so this 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. So we still need to get a push higher on US dollar CHF. So this may still push the euro US dollar a little bit further down if this is the case, if we're still going up with this move. So that's US dollar CHF. Now Audi US dollar. Audi US dollar is an interesting one. Last week during the analysis, this is what we discussed. We looked at this as a three-way move to the upside. So this is what I do, guys. So when I do the analysis here, I'm going to show you what my bias is, and then when we come the following week, we refer to the previous analysis so that we can track how this is going. So we had made a three-way move, and last week we were here and we wanted this to break out for another possible three-way move, but that three-way move would have meant that we needed to get a drop to the downside. Okay, so does that mean that because we did not get that move and we only got that to the upside, that did not play out? Not at all. What is only happening is simply that you are now getting a double correction instead of a single one. So there's still a possibility that Audi US dollar, and Audi is correlated to gold, so there's still a possibility that Audi US dollar gives us this structure, which is a three-wave move. So waves are very complex if you don't understand them. You need to have that dynamic mind that sees these things. So last week we did a webinar with the guys in the group. I was showing them what I see every time I look at the chart. So I see all the possibilities there of how this puzzle can play out as. So here's looking at this one here. There's this possibility as well that it can do that, come down and go up for another three-way move. Does that mean I don't know what where this is going, or I don't know what I'm doing? Not at all. It just simply means that I do not have a bias. I don't have a specific bias. I see what the market is going as, how the price is going, what the price is going. I see a number of alternatives, and as the market plays out, it eliminates the alternatives that are afforded the least probability. So that is how you play out with this. So it helps you when circumstances change, so that you are able to switch. All right. So if you have a bias, you're going to keep losing money. So now it has made a double, and it does not worry me. Now, can it go up for another three waves? It is possible because gold is doing the same thing. And another thing, you cannot trade the wave theory, either wave theory or the market as a whole, without looking at correlation. So we're going to look at gold. Audi US dollar and gold, they go together. So gold is looking upside for now, for a short move that we'll have a look when we do gold. So that's what we're going to be looking at here. So you've got 1, 2, 3. Is this one done? There's possibility that this can give you one more down like that, and it becomes a 1, 2, 3 move, and we still get another move to the upside. Okay, so you need to keep an eye and see which one develops. Okay, unfortunately, the market is not open as yet, so we will only be able to see when it plays out. But that is the structure. So higher degree, I need to show you the higher degree as well. We looked at that possibility of this giving us one down. Okay, if you look on the daily, there is still this likelihood that we're going to get this one down before we actually go. So the bias is still up. So if you look at this here, so we know which structure we'll be looking at if this keeps going up if this corrects and starts going up here like that, so we will be able to see the structure that would have made. And that structure would have been, we take this off, not like that. Let's show you how we adjust. Sorry, okay, let me just clear this. There's a lot of clutter in the chart. Okay, so I'm just gonna do the red here. Let's look at WXY move. Okay, so you have got here, if you look at the yellow, you have got this red here giving you a 1, 2, 3, and this side here you're getting the same yellow giving you a 1 and a 2 and a 3. That will mean that this is not the green degree but rather the red. Okay, so here the only difference is that will come here is the degree. So let's have a look here. So this will be like that. If this goes, so you see, you will know which one plays out when this when you've got more information on this one here. Let's look at this. This is a minor degree, and that will be the structure. You see here, 1, 2, 3 in red, 1, 2, 3 in red. If it does not go and comes back for 1, we also know that which structure it will be forming. So you need to be able to understand both possibilities here. And you'll see that most of the time, the possibilities are the same in terms of bias. Here, we're just looking for 1 down and then it goes. So the question is only whether we're going to go for 1 down before we go, or we're going to go for 1. We are actually ready and we're going to go. And this is actually the tricky area towards the reversal area. So I'm inclined to this coming down here onto the blue box, even if it gives us a 1, 2, 3, and then comes down. Either way. Okay, so that's how we look at this, and that's on the daily. And if you want a screenshot of the labeling there, that is a screenshot on the daily, and that is the structure. When you've got a structure like this, it becomes so easy. All you have to do is do minor adjustments and be able to trade going forward. So that's Audi US dollar, New Zealand US dollar. Yes, that's a possibility, Faisal. I think you're seeing exactly what I'm seeing. Okay. Faisal is in the premium group, by the way, so that's why you would be able to see it like that. So now let's look at New Zealand. New Zealand, we are in this structure as well that we're looking at as a diagonal. Is this diagonal complete and we're ready to go? So this may give us direction in terms of what Audi is going to do. Okay, so there's a likelihood that this will bounce up after this move. And that is because gold is doing the exact same move, right? So let me do US dollar ZAR, and then from there I'm gonna then do gold so we can see this relationship as well. So you are here, either you're gonna get one more down and then up, or you're gonna get a push higher from right there. Okay, it's not guesswork, it's what the structure is giving you. Right, so that is New Zealand US dollar. I think let's rather do gold and silver now, and then we'll do US dollar ZAR last. Let's look at gold. So gold, this is the structure that we've been looking at. I've been looking at this as a three-way move up, correction, and then up. Okay, last week we were thinking that this is actually may actually go from here. Okay, but now it is actually clearer what is happening, and you'll see when you go to the 4-hour chart what we're looking at. So this is a 1, this is a 2, this is a 3-wave move. I'm expecting a move, at least a retest, not a retest, this to break this level and give us a zigzag before we drop all the way. So this will be a big correction like this, and it will be the same correction as this one. So let's just see what the structure is. Look at the wave 2. So wave 2, you'll see that it is actually this structure here. You see. So if you've got a wave 2 there, and you've got a wave 4 like that, very easy. And that's why we're looking for gold to come up here. So you've got 1, you've got 2, you've got 3, you've got 4, you've got 5. Easy. So that's why we're looking for gold to come and retest that level. It can, if it keeps correcting here, give us, we still remember this is wave 4, and this will be the challenge. This can keep dropping up to this level and give you a structure like this. So also anticipate that possibility, but overall, we are still going down. You'll be looking to get this move. And when that move is done, then you're going to expect the correction. Why are we looking for this to come all the way down here? And we're not looking to buy gold at any time, right? So this is the reason why. Because of the structure. I've labeled this over 2 years ago, almost just under 2 years ago, and it has been playing out exactly like this ever since. So now we're looking at this one like that. You're looking at this one as a correction. You're looking for this one to come down here to give you this whole overall structure here, which will look like a regular flat. Let's switch off and just show that one in the daily. As get the labeling off. So there's an overall bigger structure that we're looking at here, which is an impulsive move down, 3 waves, correction, 3 waves that gives you this structure. We've been looking at this structure from right at the top here. When gold started declining, we've been selling, and I've been saying sell, sell, sell. All the webinars in the last couple of weeks, that is from around mid-May, we've been saying sell gold, and we're looking the target has always been to this area. And that's what happens when you've got the structure. When you've got the structure and you've got the trend, you don't trade any other direction other than where the cycle is taking you. And this is why we've got gold looking like this. And it is not only the last piece that we look at. You'll see that it is not just that, it is the whole historical data on gold that is labeled. And that is how you trade the way the Elliott wave. So it's not about the count, is about labeling the structure, identifying the structure. So that is gold. Silver, last week we spoke about this pushing up higher for a double correction currently that's happening. Let's look at the 4-hour. So if you look at the silver last week, we looked at this as the first correction, as the second one. I think this is where we are, and we said this is going to push up higher for a 3-wave move, and we'll expect that this may reverse from that level. Okay, it did not reverse in the blue box, it instead has made this move. Okay, so now possibilities is that silver can correct and give you another, not like that, let's do this. Silver can correct where it is currently. Let's look at this one as green, can correct currently and give you a green like that, and give us a move, a push higher that we look expecting on gold. And from there, silver can then drop, because this will be a correction, right? It's a 7-string sequence, and silver could then start declining from there. Okay, so why would it decline, and what are we looking at if it declines? I've been talking about this level for the last couple of weeks as well, and it is this level here. And this is not because it is a support or resistant level, it is because it is a structural level. So we were looking for this to come and retest this level around the 1350 area. Okay, if I switch off here, let's show you the overall structure, and this is what I'm looking at. We've got a pulsing move here, and we've got this here as a corrective structure like that. Sorry, not like that. Remove this. And we're looking at this as a move to the downside, like this, correction, and this, to come and retest this level. What would happen from there? Would expect then maybe a push higher to give us this structure. So there's the correlation between silver and gold. Still a bit of a push higher, with this correction, and before we drop. Okay, so it does not look like it's ready to go up as yet, may still come down. So when this correction is done, you can take it for one down, and then when it comes to around this level, you'll be looking for entry points for upside. Similar to gold, we're looking for one up before we come down, and then upside. Right, so that's silver and gold. And lastly, on the US dollar pairs, let's look at US dollar ZAR. Okay, so US dollar ZAR has made this move to the downside, and it has gone down in 3 waves. So before that, let's just have a look at the structure, overall structure of the last string that we looked at. 1, 2, 3, and now we're busy correcting with this move. We've made the first move of the correction, and this move does not look to be complete. It may be coming to complete around this level. We actually have a blue box around that level. Let's clear that. Let me take this off. Okay, this is where the blue box is. Okay, missed it by a measly few pips. So could still retest it there. let's see the reaction that we get there. So the reaction that we get here should be corrective. We should get a correction around that level. That will possibly do that, because now what we're doing here is correct this whole string. We are correcting this whole string. We've got to move down here in 3 waves. So this, we could start getting a reaction from the blue box that could do this, and that will have been a 3 up, 3 back. So let's see how this one plays out. For now, you need to get a clear entry point. You don't have it as yet on US dollar ZAR. All right, so let's look at the yen pairs now. I think we've done all the US dollar pairs. Let's look at the yen pairs. We'll start with pound yen. Pound yen also, 2 alternatives there. Both of them giving us the same thing. So what we have here on pound yen, looking at the last string, we are looking at this as a 1, 2, 3 wave. Okay, if you're looking at this one as a WXY like that, that means this should be like this. That means you should have a 1, 2, 3. Let's do it cleanly. Let's switch this off so it can be cleaned. That means you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It does not look like we are going to get this one. And if we are not getting this one that I have currently on the screen, remember, all we are looking for is for this correction to play out and break to the upside. So whether this has now completed and we're ready to go, that's the only thing we don't know. And if you don't know any of those things, then you'll be able, that means you're going to miss the trade to the upside. We've already made an impulsive move to the upside. Either way, we were only going to trade this one if we get a pulsing move to the upside. So how do we now look at this? So if we're looking at this structure currently, the first alternative is a WXY in red, then that means that we're going to get 1 down before we go. Now, secondly, if this now is not exactly that, but rather a 11 string sequence that looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11 string, that means then that is complete, and this is a WXYXZ. So if this is the case and this is complete, you won't miss it just because you missed the first string. Remember, you are looking for a bigger move to the upside. So missing this first piece does not mean anything, but rather if you're going to miss this piece and get a very guaranteed trade to the upside, that's even better. It's a safer trade, a better risk. So now what do we have here in this case? If this is the case that we have now as a 11 string sequence, what we are going to expect is to get a correction here. Is it what we're getting? We need to see in the lower degree to see what we're getting. So let's go to the lower degree and see what we're getting there. That's 4 hour. Okay, so it looks like we're actually getting a correction here. We have made a passing move to the downside. You're getting this one here, 3-wave move up. You're getting this one here, correction. It's a possibility that this goes retests. This one comes down in red, not like that. This one comes down in red, and you actually start pushing higher, like that. Okay, so let's have a look. So this can also be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11 string sequence, and we drop. Okay, depending on how big this correction comes in here, that will also be a WXY XZ in the higher degree. Okay, so it's easy to trade this, so you need to trade the break out of this one here. This one is a nice trade to take for the week ahead, but you need to be you need to wait for it to confirm, wait for it to break clearly from that. Conservative traders would want for this to clear this level, because once it clears that level, that means that this is a single correction and this was ready to go. Okay, but you've got a nice trade to wait for in the next week, even though this may be short. But there's a likelihood that this may have been the move that you've been looking for, and this goes. Maybe even get a deeper correction here before it actually give you that big move to the upside. Right, that's pound JPY. Right, so look out for that one. Pound JPY. Let's look at US dollar JPY. US dollar JPY, very interesting now. It has opened up further upside by breaking the previous high. Remember US dollar JPY, when we were here, we said just keep buying, and the overall target is there. Is it gonna go in a straight line like what happened here? Not necessarily, because if you look at the 2 strings, this one was very sharp. This one is slow in terms of speed. So if you look at that here, we were looking for these to come 1, 2, 3 up, take before it goes. Okay. According to the rules and guidelines, it is still possible. It is still possible for this one to come down, but I'm not looking at that anymore. And it looks like it is making an impulsive 5 waves. So USDJPY will continue with the uptrend. So what do we have here? We had a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's an ABC move, and this is what we expected. So now look. This is a good example of how we trade this. So 1, 2, 3. So if you're buying USDJPY, right? So for example, you would have bought it when you made this correction here. If you bought USDJPY, you are going to move your stop to break even when you get to this level. Why? Because when you get to that level, you would have been expecting that you may get a flat correction, but instead you didn't get a flat correction, but you got a single 3-wave correction. So now that is why you're getting this 3-wave move up, 3-wave move back, and now you're getting this one to the upside. Okay, so this can do this, and then we go to that 118 area that we're looking for. So there's a possibility. Why am I doing this like that? Because if you look at this swing here, there's a 1, there's a 2 here, and now we're pushing for a wave 3. If you're pushing for a wave 3, there will come a 4 at some point, and it will complete this one before you get a deeper correction, and then the last move to the upside. All right. Easy. Let's look in the lower degree for our. So USDJPY still pushing higher and breaking up now. Breaking that level now means even further upside. So now we're looking for further upside. Let's just look here. So we'll be looking for wave 3 to come around this level. So you've got 1, 2, 1, 2, and your wave 3 you'll label above 113.86. Then you'll get your 4. Then you get your 5. Then you're gonna get a deeper one for that to get to the level. If you remember what I showed you on the daily, you're going to get a bit of a push, deeper correction up, and a deeper one. That will make this an A, B, C move. I think I'm doing it rough, and some of you are getting lost. Let me do it cleanly. Unfortunately, I cannot do it in the daily, so let's just have a look here. We've got 1, 2. We are looking for this to be a wave 3 and to give us this move. Now, after that move, we're going to expect a move like that and then a move like that. So that would make this an A, B, C move. Okay. Here you already have an A, B, C move. Okay. So if this is the case and you get that, you're going to look at this first ABC as a 3-wave move. This one is also red, X. And if you get this one here to the 1,618, you are going to get one of those trades, one of those guaranteed trades that will just rally to the target. Okay, so now you need to wait for this to play out. This is on the daily, so it may take a couple of days to play out. You need to keep an eye on that. So how to trade USDJPY in the coming weeks is to just wait for corrections and push higher. Right, so EURJPY. Now you'll see that with all the yen pairs, we're looking upside. So this is EURJPY. We've made a 3-wave back, here, and now we're making a 3-wave up. Now we need to get a correction here. Why do we need to get a correction? Because we've made a 3-wave up. Now, if we get a correction, you may get another 3 waves up. That will make this a WXY move. Now, look in the higher degree. In the higher degree, we've got a 11 swing sequence there. We're looking for this to give us an 11 swing sequence. This is a corrective structure, corrective structure, corrective structure, corrective structure, corrective structure. So that is why I was showing you here that we may get we've got a 1, 2, 3 up. Let's do this. You've got 1, 2, 3 up, possible correction, another 1, 2, 3. That will make this WXY in this degree. Similar to what you have here, This is a WXY in that degree, WXY in that degree, WXY in that degree, WXY in this degree. Now, if you look at this, this becomes very easy because you have identified the structure and you're not counting the waves. You are just following the right principles, X, and then the Y will be the red. So that is how this plays out. So if you look at this WXY in yellow, WX, you see here, this becomes so easy when you can follow the structure WXY, WXY, WXY. That happens when the structure is so clear. Okay, right. So it's not just a matter of putting in a lot of numbers and letters without understanding the structure. So what we're going to wait for is this piece here. This is where we are, and then we're going to look to get these last three waves in that degree to the upside. Okay, if we just show you the labeling, if anybody's interested in that, you can look at that structure like that. We are looking for this Z in pink to happen. Okay, still very likely to happen. All right, guys, so let's carry on. That's a EURJPY, CHFJPY, beautiful chart, CHFJPY. Look at this. We spoke about wave 4 last week, and now it is now coming down for that wave 4. Okay, so why is this a wave 4, and how is this going to play out? We're still looking for the wave 5. Now let's have a look in the daily. We're in the daily here. This is a beautiful chart. Like I said when we started, this is starting to look a lot clearer now. You've got a pulsing move to the upside. You've got three-wave correction, which is an expanding flat there. Look at that, easy. Right now, you have made this one here. You started with a diagonal here. You started with a leading diagonal. Textbook leading diagonal, we identified it when it was still happening, and now that leading diagonal is giving you the structure. It's giving you a pulsing wave now. We're looking at this to be a three-wave move, but it looks like it's a pulsing wave. All right, so this 1, 2, we are now looking for this 3, 4, and then a 5. Okay, so that move can then be a 1 like this one. You see, then you're going to expect a three-wave correction, which is this one. Then you're going to expect a three-wave correction. 1, 2, 3. Then that structure would have completed like this. Do you see? Beautiful chart if it plays out like this. This is what we're looking at, and most of the time this is what happens, and this is what we cannot see because you do not have a trained eye, right? So let's have a look. So last week, I think not 3 weeks back, 4 weeks back, we traded that guaranteed trade because we could see the structure clearly coming out because we saw that this was a move, this was a correction, and we are now going up. Doesn't go in a straight line, so you may get a deeper one like this in the days ahead. So how will this change the structure? Let's do the blue here. This will be A, B, C here. This will be A, B, C here. This will be A, B, C here. Now, if that is the case, what is this? That means that your ABC is your W, your ABC is your X, your ABC is your Y. I'm giving you too much, guys. Huh? This looks very clear. So let's have a look how this plays out in the weeks ahead. So now you've got this one here. I'm not interested in this until it gives a correction like that, and we see what structure is going to play out there. Right, so that's CHFJPY, very clear structure. Need to move a bit faster now, otherwise we won't have enough time to do all the charts. Right, so Yusuf seems to be enjoying the analysis. That's good. Thank you. All right, guys. Let's carry on. That's CHFJPY, AUDJPY. AUDJPY, like I said, the year-end pairs are looking strong. So look at these corrective structures. Don't just rush in them. It needs to make sense to you. This is on the daily. So this correction must make sense to you. Right now, you've had a three-wave move to the upside. If this is going to be a correction, it needs to be a clear correction. One of the corrections must be any of the corrections that Elliott identified in his research. Okay, so if you look at this here, you see now when I go down lower, it is actually clear, expanding here. And now you're going with this one. Does not look to be going strong though. It's going in three waves. So if it's going in three waves, there's a possibility that it can give you another one like that before it goes. Okay, but it does not have to give you this one, because even if you get a corrective structure here, then that may mean that this is ready to go. Okay. All right, guys. So that's how it looks. So this is how clear the structures are. The structures are just clear this week. So let's carry on here. That's AUDJPY. Look for this correction to break to the upside. Look for a correction here in the push higher. Right, New Zealand. Beautiful. Ari has already bought AUDJPY. Here, same structure you see here that we're discussing on the other pair, looking for a correction here. We look for a push higher. Okay, so all the yen pairs are looking upside, but you need to be patient. You need to be patient. Okay, guys, you're gonna need to determine the timings for this. There's a lot of clearer structures in this chart. In this chart this week. So that's AUDJPY, New Zealand, CAD. CAD has made a beautiful structure. Okay, let's go daily. Don't worry, Faizan, we go into more detail in the group. We'll go into more detail in the group. So what we're doing here is nothing compared to what we're going to do. So you still need to be able to understand the timing. So initially, when we're looking for this to just break the top here on CAD, so now it has pushed up, and we'll be looking for this to push a little bit higher for this three-wave structure. Okay, so look for corrections for further upside. So this can actually do this and come down, maybe running flat maybe, or a regular flat before we do that. And in that case, we'll be looking for this structure, which will be an A, B, C move. Okay, so no clear structure because it has already gone, so you cannot get any entry point here. We've already broken that level. So that's CADJPY. So I'm not even going to go to the lower time frame. If I just check the 4 hour, you just check the 4 hour, this is already pushed up. So there's nothing you can do with this. You cannot go and buy, you cannot go and sell there. So just watch the higher degree analysis and see if you can get entry points. All right, so that concludes all the US dollar and the yen pairs, the metals. Well, now let's look at the pound pairs. So the pound pairs, we're looking at pound chief. We're looking at this one as a 5-wave move, a correction, and another 5-wave move. Let's just have a look here. You've got a 5-wave move to the upside. You're getting another 5-wave move to the upside. So it looks like you may be getting this one as a wave 4 here. A push higher before we drop. Remember, pound chief is on a downtrend. Just look here daily. We're on a downtrend. So whatever happens with pound chief, as I mentioned, that you've got a 3-wave move down, 5-wave move down, correction, and a 5. So that's 5, 3, 5. Now you're getting this correction here. Okay, so this can even give you a structure like this. 1, 2, 3, up and then down. Okay, but for now, what we are looking for is for this correction to complete before we resume with further downside. So you would want this correction to be bigger than this one before you come down. I mentioned that if we don't get a deeper correction like the one that is forming now here, that means that let's just show you. That means that pound will just go down straight. So if you do not get a deeper correction here, that means that this would have been all the correction and this was going to break to the downside. So them giving a correction here means they're not ready to break this level, because that was what will happen is that after that correction, it's just going to come to that level and bounce before it comes down. So they're not ready to take it down. So that's what I said even before this correction happened. If it happens and it's deep, they're not going to take it. It's not going to break this low. Right, so that's what you need to wait for on pound chief, pound Audi. Pound Audi, it's a little bit of a tricky pair. But once you get on the right side of this one, let's just show the labeling here. We are looking for this as a correction in wave X. Let's have a look here. We're looking for this one to give us this X. Okay, once you get that, we are looking to complete these last 3 waves to the upside. We're looking to complete these 3 waves to the upside. Right, so why are we looking to do that? It's because we've got W, X, Y, X, Z. We're looking for that move. When this correction is done, we're looking for that one. Okay, don't have any specific trade on this one here on the 4 hour. Let's have a look. Okay, right. Actually, this one looks very good in the lower degree because this is what it's doing. Excuse me. 1, 2, 3. Possibility for 1, 2, 3. Overall, we still want to get to that level. Okay, that is what pound looks like. Alternatively, this can just keep coming down, and this is what most look likely will happen, to come down to this level, maybe bounce and give us another one. Otherwise, we are seeing this as a correction, and it's supposed to be like that because this is an X wave in the daily. If I go to the daily, so you can see that X wave. If you see that one here, that can just come down like that. So it's likely to do that. So another possibility that I looked at, so from the moment this made this wave, I was looking for a regular flat here. Okay, and now it has broken by quite a number of pips here. So this can still be, it can still be an expanding flat, even though not the best one, but it can be an expanding flat, and it's not coming down faster. So normally after an expanding flat, this must be a pulsing move, but it's not coming that fast. But we know that this pair can do that, similar to what it did here. It goes like, it looks corrective, and then it pulses. So even similarly here, it may look corrective, and be pulsive. So it's quite possible, okay, that we make this structure here, which will be a WXY like that, and then we push higher. But this correction will be too big compared to the rest of the structure. Right. Let's see here. So this was the X. This could be the X. It's possible. Okay. Or this could be the X. It's possible that this is all the X, and we are now going not like that. This is all the X, which is 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3 down. Let's do it in 3 waves. So you can see 1, 2, 3. And now we get the push higher. Similar to what we got here. Similar to what we got here. See. WX, sorry. YXZ. Right. So let's see how that plays out. So a push lower, maybe even to the 56.1%. Let's see how that plays out. It will also be interesting to see this structure play out like that. You have 1, 2, 3. You have 1, 2, 3, and you have correction, correction, push, push, push. All right, so that's actually what you're going to be looking at on Audi, or Audi pound Audi. Pound CAD. Pound CAD. So this will support downside on pound Audi. If we're looking downside on pound Audi, if you remember here, we have been looking for this to come down to the 88. Let's switch on and see if we still have that. My blue box on this pair is right around the 88. Let's show that. I will show again the correlation on this next week. So we may be ready now to go all the way to the 88. And if that is the case now, that will mean that pound Audi will come down with this. The 88 is somewhere around this level. And this will complete the X wave around this level. Okay, so let's have a look. In the terms of correlation, we get a correction here. That means Audi will come down with this, possibly to the 88 before we start pushing higher. Okay, it will be very interesting in the next coming sessions. Looks like the Christmas rally is gonna start early. Okay, so let's have a look. In the lower degree, pound CAD, simply wait for corrective structures in the lower degree. Now, if you look at this here, two things that are happening here. Two things. that you can look at this. Let's switch off here on pound CAD. Is this going down, or is this a correction that will push higher? Both possibilities you must look at. So you've got a pulsing move to the downside, right? So you also have a 1, 2, 3 wave up that we can look at as an expanding flat and another move to the downside. So that's a possibility that this is a 3-wave move that is completed, and you may get a push to the upside. If that is not the case and this is going to the downside, this means that the structure that you have here is this one here. Let's have a look. Going down means that this would have ended here, yes. That means you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11 swing sequence, and that has ended. If this has ended, and this is a W, X, Y, X, Z, that means that that has ended. That has ended, and now you are going to get further downside. And that means that this was all your correction, and this is what it looks likely to have happened. So correction, further downside. Right, so that's pound CAD. Look out for those two possibilities, either an impulse or a correction. This will tell you down, this will tell you up. Right, that's pound CAD. Next week, I'm going to revert back and refer back to the correlation between pound CAD and pound AUD. Still playing out perfectly so far. Pound in New Zealand, you can see that it's got a similar structure to pound AUD. 3-wave move down, correction, and now it looks like we're coming down. Corrective structure, next target is this level. Let's see what happens at this level, whether it's going to come and give us a 3-wave structure. But this is a 4-hour chart, so there's quite a number of pips to the downside still to this level. And if it breaks, then you've got a good trade up to around this level. That's pound New Zealand. Why are we looking at pound New Zealand like that, by the way? So let's have a look on the daily. Let's go daily. Day. Okay, so pound, we looked last week, we spoke about this structure. 1, 2, 3 up, and now you're getting this pulsing move to the downside. This needs to correct, give you a clear correction. See if we're going to get this move. Okay, let's see if we're going to get that move. So we're still in a sideways move here. 3 complex B wave correction here. Something like this. A, E, C before we push higher. Okay, so very clear structures on the pulse, actually on the market all round. That's pound New Zealand 4-hour. Let's look at the 4-hour once more. Okay, so 4-hour. This can come back down for this, up, and then does this. So look at that, at those possible. If this is the case and it gives us this structure, then this is going to keep pushing higher. Okay, so that's pound New Zealand. I'm running through this because I don't really see any new trades. But this would have been a nice one to enter there. I was just not following this. Would have been a nice one to enter when it broke there for the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 up and then down. Okay, I did not follow that. Right, so that's pound New Zealand. I think that concludes all the pound pairs. Now let's look at the euro pairs. Look at the euro pairs. Euro, we spoke about this last week that we are looking for upside. Okay, this is after the pulsing move. So yeah, last week when we did the analysis, we already had this pulsing move. And I said, look out for a correction for a further push higher. So that correction became very deep. Looks like we're going to push higher here. So that will support that the pound is going to be weak in the next coming sessions. Okay, so expecting euro to go up, minimum reaches that level, possibly come back down with this one and then go, or otherwise just correct. Otherwise just correct at the current just above at around these levels and keep pushing higher and retest that level. Right. So now what do you need to wait for? You need to wait for this to break clearly to the upside. You need to get a break on the 4 hour and still another correction flag in the 1 hour to confirm. That's a pound, a euro pound, euro New Zealand, euro New Zealand, 3-wave move down. We've made a 3-wave move down. I'm expecting a little bit of a push lower to complete this because we're still missing the blue box by a few pips. See, there's the blue box. So you can see that that move is not coming, it's not going, it does not look like it's going all the way down. And if it's not going all the way down and we're only looking for this to, we're looking to buy in after the 3-wave correction, we will look for this to come into the blue box before we expect the move to the upside. And this will make this correction a break above. That means it goes. So now why are we looking for this to be a continuation pattern or a correction? That's because Euro New Zealand, we are long-term bullish. So any correction, as we talked about this, any correction on the euro. So interestingly, there's a slight weakness in terms of the correlation coefficient between the euro US dollar and the euro New Zealand, but we'll look at this during the week in the group, because if we are looking at this, okay, this one will push a little bit lower and we're still looking for this to push higher while we're looking for the euro to drop a little bit further, then this may be in contradiction with the correlation, right? So this move to the upside will support the running flat on euro US dollar. Let me just remind you of the running flat on euro US dollar. Euro US dollar running flat, just to remind you. If that one is going with that structure, this is the running flat that could go from here, right? That is euro US. So let's go back to euro New Zealand. I was just trying to refer to that, and that there must be correlation. So if this is the case, and this has made a complete 3-wave move down and it starts going pushing to the upside, euro US dollar may do the same as well, right? So that's euro New Zealand, euro AUD. Thank you, York. Right, so this is a 3-wave move correction. Okay, euro AUD, I will expect this to push higher. But now here's the thing about correlation again. Now we're looking at the euro, we're looking at the AUD, and we're looking at the pound. Now you've got pound AUD, GBPAUD. Let me just call it GA. You've got GA, that looks like it's coming down. You've got EU, that could make a running flat. Now you've got EA, that looks like it's making a 3-wave move to the downside. So maybe a little bit push lower, and then EA goes with EU. Okay, so there will be a conflict between these two. So that means between these 3 correlations, one of the correlation coefficients between any of these pairs will be slightly weaker. It will change. Remember, correlation is not fixed. It changes over time. And this is what changes correlation, when there are different drivers for the different currencies. So this may be going up because of the, this may be going down. Okay, this may be going up because we will be looking at euro US dollar up. But because we're looking at GA down, this may only, it's possible that this can come down because of the GA down. So there are 2 factors affecting this pair. Okay, so we need to watch and see how this goes in the week ahead. So we look at the structure. We look at one with the clearest structure. What are we going to get with these 3 waves? So we've got 3 waves on Euro New Zealand. We also have EU in terms of this correlation. Let me call it EZ, E New Zealand. Not ZAR, but E New Zealand. Just doing it for ease of explanation. You also have EZ. And EZ, we're also looking for this similar correction as that. And we're looking for the push higher. So it's mostly stronger euro. Okay, so that means that means this one may still push up higher, and the correlation between these two may be weak in the coming ahead in the coming weeks. Okay, so let's go on. So we are looking for these three-way moves and see if we're gonna get a push higher. Right, so that's a EURAUD, EUROCHF. The chief pairs are looking upside. So EUROCHF, you should have gotten this one last week. We spoke about this one. This is the daily. I remember when I spoke about this one and I said buy this one during the webinar, market open, and this is what happened after that. Similar thing yesterday, we said look at this one and take it to the upside, even though it only went this move, but that's not a short move, that's about 100 pip move. And then we spoke about this one last week. Is this now ready to go and give us a one, maybe go for three, and starts giving us something like this? Okay, so that is a possibility on EUROCHF. CHF looks weak in the coming session, so this likelihood that this can keep pushing higher for the wave 3. Right, so that's EUROCHF. I think that concludes all the Euro pairs. Right, so let's look at some of the crosses. New Zealand CAD. And the CAD pairs are very interesting. So if you remember, New Zealand CAD, I said we are selling, we just keep selling and selling and selling. And not just because we like selling a lot, that's because that's what the structure is giving us. And that is the structure. You're gonna keep selling, and we're looking to sell up all the way down to the blue line. You have made this three-wave correction, and now we're coming down. So now what do you need to do on New Zealand CAD? New Zealand CAD keeps selling it up until around that level. At around that level, we're gonna start looking for a reversal. But for now, we keep selling. Let's go to the 4 hour. Before we go to the 4 hour, I need to show you the overall structure on the daily. See, not a single pulse in sight. Not a single pulse on side. It's all three-wave moves on this pair. That's why I like the CAD pair. So there's a likelihood that this gives you a V pattern, what we like to call a V pattern in our group. And if it gives you a V pattern, we are not going to miss this trade. We are going to get it all the way up. So there's so many pips to the upside. This is going to go long term to the upside. But even if it's going long term to the upside, how do you even trade this? Do you just trade and hold for years, for a couple of months? It can be very frustrating to hold something like this. Imagine if you're holding something like this. So you need to know how far you want to go with the structures. You trade the structures internally. Imagine, I mean, this is a lot of pips from around 62 to 92. That's about 3,000 pips here. Okay, but that 3,000 pips happened over, look at this, over a period of more than 5 years. So here, are you gonna hold a trade 5 years for 3,000 pips? Okay, or you're gonna find a way to trade internally these structures. Even if we get to this level and we start getting that reversal that I'm looking out for here, we're not gonna trade this in one go. Okay, we kill an elephant bit by bit, and that's what we're gonna do here if we get this structure here. Right. So now, for now, we are looking downside. We're still looking downside to go and complete the move up until around this level. You're looking for this to come down to this level. Right, that's New Zealand CAD, AUDCAD, similar. So the CAD pairs are dropping. You've got that drop as well. After the correction, you're looking to come down as well. We've got that reversal candle in the daily correction, and now you're coming down. Corrective structure coming down. Right. That's AUDCAD. Nothing new there, except this is coming down, and the target is around this area, around 91. But it's very close and risky to sell that one. Maybe wait for a bounce there. We'll update. New Zealand CHF. I don't usually do New Zealand CHF, but it's got a clearer structure. It's got a nice clear structure, and it looks like it has completed this move. You see here, you've got May 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3 up, and it looks like you've got this one as a 1, 2, 3 down as well. Let's do that one in green. And it looks like we are done. And let's wait for this to push higher. Okay. Possible that it may be ready from here, but because it has not given me a deeper correction as yet, I would expect that this may just do that. And you actually get something like this. Then that will be a combination of a regular and a zigzag before we push higher. And that will be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we go, giving you this big structure like this in the middle. Okay, I'm just doing it roughly here, but if you wanted to go into more detail, you are going to go into the current swing 4 hour. The pairs that I see this likely trade, I spend a bit more time and a bit more detail on. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and an expanded wave 5. So you may get a deeper correction here before you get another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, making this an ABC move. Right, so that's New Zealand Chief. Audi New Zealand. Okay, we'll do Audi New Zealand and then oil here. Audi New Zealand. Now, Audi New Zealand is forming an interesting structure. Last week, we wanted it to do this move here. This move here. And okay, we're actually here, so we thought it was going to do this and come back. Now that has changed. It doesn't look like we're going to get one more down, one more up before we can go up. It looks like you need to watch this correction. You need to watch this how this correction is playing out, because this looks like an expanding flat at this stage, and that expanding flat has completed, and we are now coming down. Okay, so that would be the move that you're looking for on Audi New Zealand. But even if it plays like this will be a slow move to the downside. The move that we were looking for was actually faster to the downside after the correction. So all of this, it has been a move to the downside, 3-wave move, and now we're coming down with this one. Now we're busy with the correction. So we wanted to get this move. So nothing clear at this stage. You need to wait for this correction to play out and see the structure that it is making. That's Audi New Zealand. Now let's look at oil. Oil, we are in this fifth wave now. We've corrected after the fifth wave. We made a 1, 2, 3. Remember my analysis initially when this correction started, I was looking for this to come do this, come back down, and we go. Okay, so that would have been made. That would have made a big A, B, C move. But now let's keep an eye and see how oil does. So when if it comes here, if it breaks above this level, then that means that we've got we're not going to have this as a flat correction, but rather a different structure. So if this is a flat correction, this is going to come back down and retest the previous low before it goes. So now we are on the uptrend, and as you've seen with the CAD pairs, they're dropping. Okay, that's because the CAD is strong. So oil strong as well. So we're looking for continuation, but we are at a critical level at this point. Breaking this opens up further upside on oil. Okay, that's on the daily 4 hour. Okay, somebody's complaining about sound. That must be on your side. Only one person is complaining, so oil, keep pushing higher, keep getting corrections, keep pushing higher. So you need to be careful around that level. All right, so is there anybody struggling with sound? Okay, let's carry on. Oil easy, wait for corrective structures to go and retest this previous high here. This one here at wave 5. That's where you're looking to go. Is everybody happy with the sound? Somebody? I see somebody sending me a private message that everybody is happy. So you just type that, yeah, okay. So if you just say sound is fine, everybody will see that they need to reset on their side. So that is how oil looks. Keep pushing higher. It has already made an equal legs here, 5 waves and 3 waves. So it can reverse at any point, but I would like it to come to this level. And it's possible that it can even push higher than that. So we'll update after it gets to this level, if it gets to that level. All right, now let's look at the cryptos. Cryptos, I'm not even gonna spend time on this. It's very easy to trade the cryptos. They've just been bullish for the last couple of weeks. I've been saying the same thing, correction buy, correction buy. So same thing we're gonna do here. S&P 500, we're still continuing. As my overall target on my target on medium-term target on the S&P 500 is at 307. And that's because we are able to project the last wave, which is 5. We're looking for this to give us a wave 5. Let's clear that. Switch off. So anything that you get as a 3 wave, whether a small degree, this is a bigger degree, with a small degree like this, small degree like this, you keep buying up until 307. Okay, up until 307, because this has made this correction here and started making a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move to the upside. 1, 2, and internally here we are making this pulsing move to the upside, which is a 5-wave move. So that's how the S&P 500 will look going forward. You can refer to the previous analysis on this to see the overall structure and what we're looking at internally. So very clear. Broke the top. We've been looking for this to break the top for the last couple of weeks, and has now broken the top and corrected above the top, and it's going to keep pushing higher. Why is it going to push higher? Because we've traded similar with the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ has broken that top, and even though the S&P 500 is lagging the NASDAQ in terms of structure, we knew, okay, let me just go daily. We knew that the S&P 500 was going to break that structure because the NASDAQ had done it already in May. You see here, this is the structure that we had on the NASDAQ. We had a running flat in May, and the top was broken, corrected on the top, and then keep pushing higher. It is still pushing higher even now. Okay, so that's why S&P 500, we're not looking for anything else other than upside. Okay, so we're still pushing higher on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ as well. So could this make a 1 correction there and then move like this? So that will be a clear corrective structure that does this. Okay, so either way, when the correction is complete, you look to just keep buying this. Okay, not easy to hop on all along. You need to get a clear corrective structure to be able to enter something like this. That is the NASDAQ UK 100 or the FTSE. This is a beautiful one. I've explained what happened with this one. So this one gave us a clear 3-wave move and started bouncing to the upside. In 5 waves, so correction, you need to get push higher. It's gonna push higher, it's just busy correcting now. On the 4-hour, let's see what that correction looks like. Okay, on the 4-hour, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now you're gonna need to start getting a corrective structure here for this to keep pushing higher. And that will be 1, 2, and then we're gonna start going for a 3. Okay, so the indices are mostly go in impulsive waves, unlike the Forex market. Not that you don't have the impulsing waves, but it's just that it is more common on the indices. Forex mostly goes in 3 waves. So let's look at that's FTSE. Next one is the NIKKEI. Now looking at the NIKKEI, now the structure that we were speaking about, that S&P 500 and the NASDAQ has broken in May is this one, this correction, and now the NIKKEI is right at that level now. Okay, will the NIKKEI do this and go and give this as a flat correction? I don't think so. I think this is all the correction. This is all the correction in. Let me see if I've put on the wave here. This is all the correction, and the Nikkei is ready to go in 1, 2, going for a 3. So that means this will be broken. That means this level will be broken here. All right. All right, so that is the Nikkei. Let's do the DAX. Somebody's asked for the Dow Jones. We'll do the Dow Jones just now. It should be similar to S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. Right, so let's just for complete sake and sequence sake, let's do the DAX, or the German 30 index. Right. So this one here, we looked at this similar structure, 3-wave correction here in May. Although this one has happened happened between February and April. The one that we're looking at is the one that has happened in May, from May. This is the 3-wave structure. This is the one that the other indices have now broken, but the DAX have not yet. So we looked at this last week as a move down. So you've got a double correction there. You've got a expanding flat and a zigzag combination, and now you've made a move. See here, you made a move up, and now we're starting to move that move up. Is this a 3-wave move, and are we going to get this as a correction, and this starts pushing higher? Let's watch and see. If it gives you a correction and a clear impulse to the upside, then you can find an entry point to take this one. All right, so the Dow Jones. Okay, look at this one. So the Dow is right at that peak, the one where the S&P 500 is just broken. So you can see it's exactly the same structure. So same as the S&P 500, this is all the correction that has happened here. And this is the peak that the other indices have already broken. That is, the NASDAQ has already broken this high. And now we're looking for this one to also break, because this is correct. This is correcting. So I don't think this is going to reverse from here. I think we're going to get a bit of a push higher. Even if we get a push higher, we may get a deeper correction for further upside. So that's how that one looks at this stage. Right, so that is the Dow. Let me just add it there. Fine. All right. If we look on the 4-hour, that's where we are. This is actually correcting. This is gonna, when the correction is done here, this is gonna push higher. But it's not actually very risky to buy or sell at this level, because this needs to clear this level first. It needs to clear this level. All right. That is the Dow. NIFTY. My Indian traders. So the Nifty is busy correcting in this fashion. It has made a 3-wave move down. This is 1, 2, 3 correction, 1, 2, 3 like that. So we have made a 3-wave move to the downside. So at some point here, we're going to need to see if we're going to make a zigzag correction, or we're going to make a regular flat correction, or we're going to make expanding or running flat correction. So bottom line is that we are busy correcting, and this is going to go sideways. And after that, it's going to push higher. And we are looking at a stock in the NSE, that is the Sun Pharmaceutical. Sun Pharmaceutical. So it will be also in the similar correction that is currently happening. Right. So let's look at Sun Pharmaceutical. You see here, it has made a 3-wave move to the downside. So this could be over, and it could be ready to keep pushing higher. Okay. When I did the analysis, it was around this level here. So this was the proposed buy area. So now let's see if from here this is going to push higher. So it has made a 3-wave move, and now this could be a Let's look here. This could be a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 down before it goes, because we've made a three-wave move already, or that three-wave move here could be all the correction that it needed to make, these three waves here, which I doubt, because this is a lot smaller compared to this one. But let's keep an eye and watch. If you get a clear pulse or a sell setup, you can take it for one before it goes. That is Sun Pharmaceutical. All right, so let's look at the cryptocurrencies. The cryptocurrencies are looking quite easy. Let's look at Bitcoin. It has been very difficult to trade the cryptocurrencies in the last couple of days. All right, so Bitcoin, it looks okay. We've still had this structure. I've had this structure for the last couple of weeks. Now this is busy correcting here with this move. Let's just switch this off for now. It is busy correcting here with this move. After that drop, we're going to come back to that level, because what we are looking at here is a possibility that this can even give us this structure like this, and another move to the downside. Could this be the last move to the downside, and we have a structure like this, V pattern that pushes higher? But that high push does not mean we're going to be getting this one. That high push could simply mean that we're getting a three-wave correction that will give us this structure. But either way, you want to be in this move when this pushes higher. You want to be in it. Okay, so if I go to the 4-hour, let's go to the 4-hour. Bitcoin is not clear, but Litecoin is clearer than the others. So if you look at Bitcoin here, we may get a bit of a push higher, lower, and we get a structure like this, making this a 1, 2, 3-wave structure. Okay, so not the clearest one. If you wanted to trade, you'll want to trade Litecoin. This is what Litecoin looks like. Let's look at Litecoin. So Litecoin, I'm going to go 4-hour. So Litecoin is a lot clearer than Bitcoin, because what we have here is a clearer three-wave move to the upside. And okay, let me just go daily first. Let me go daily. I think it's going to be clearer on the daily. Yes. So Litecoin is clearer on the daily. So Litecoin, we are missing the blue box by a few pips, and it's busy correcting with this structure. And that structure is actually a three-wave correction that can do this and come into the blue box, and we get that three-wave reaction that we are looking at that level. Okay, so that is the daily. And if you look into the lower time frame, so we need to see if this still needs to get one more up before it comes down. Let's have a look. Similar to what Bitcoin is doing. Bitcoin looks like it's got one more up. So this Litecoin may also have a bit of a small push to the upside. Right, so that is that whole scene that we're looking at. Let's take this off. Same blue box. So Litecoin has made a three-wave move up. And this could make, not like that. Let's do this. It is a three-wave move up. But here, looks like we could get a correction and push a little bit further. Now I need to do this clearly. Let's see. I'm gonna start it lower and come out with it. So you've got a correction here. This can come push up to this level. So if that is the case, then you've got one different color. You've got 1, 2, 3 there. Okay. So if that is the case here, you have this one as a whole correction, 11 string sequence, WXY, XZ, and you look for this one, maybe a push higher here. And if that is the case, you may find that this actually looks like this. Very short-term trade to the upside. This is what you can look out for here, up to this level. And then you can look at this one as a 11 string sequence. this can come back. Then from there, then this can make an AB base pattern and start coming down into the blue box with this move. Start coming down with this move, and the blue box is the in the short-term target, medium-term target for Litecoin. All right, that is Litecoin. So wait for this structure to show completeness. When it is done, then you look to go down. So there's a likelihood that this has made an impulse here, and this is just making a correction here as well, and then it's going to come and drop like that. Okay, so that is Litecoin. Ethereum. So Ethereum, similar, we're looking at that same three-wave structure, a pulsing move down. Now it's busy correcting with this move. Is it going to go retest there? If it retests, then it's going to change structure and give us something like this, a corrective structure before we drop like that. Okay, if it does not retest there and just comes down from here, that means this will be a three-wave structure, but we still need to retest that level with this move. So both those possibilities you need to look out for. Right, you can see that's got the same bias. It's just a matter of how the correction will play out first. Where is it going to go first? And lastly, Ripple. Ripple, since that last push higher, it has reversed and corrected in one. I need to do this with a straight line so you can see this correction. So usually people miss this because it just looks like a big candle. On the 4 hour, if you look at Ripple, it has made that push higher, made a move down, made a move up, now made a move down. So this is a three-wave back correction, and now we're looking for this one here. Could this be a three-wave move up before we get the three-wave move down that we're looking at on other currency pairs? So this one, expecting a bit of a push higher, and then after that, maybe at the 61% of this, then starts reversing like that. All right, guys, that's all I had for you this morning. I hope you enjoyed the webinar. So many clearer setups in the coming weeks. So much money to be made. Good luck trading in the week ahead. See you next week. Cheers. Bye-bye.